Is the Combat Patrol box worth buying when starting your Death Guard army? So the Death Guard Combat Patrol box contains your main HQ, which is Typhus. He's a melee lord and character, as well as an elite character, the Biologus Putrifier, and then the main troops, which consist of 7 Plague Marines, which are the slightly heavier infantry, and 30 Poxwalkers, which are the slightly lighter infantry. And as it's a Combat Patrol box, it adds up to just over 500 points at around 550, depending what Warger options you pick for the Plague Marines. Although one thing to note, and I'll talk about this a bit more later on, is that of the 30 Poxwalkers, because of one of the Death Guard rules, you're only actually allowed to use 20 of them, and that might be confusing. I'll talk about that later and how you can kind of get around it. The Combat Patrol box costs around £85 or $140 or 110 euros depending where you live, and that might seem like quite a bit. You do get quite a good amount of models for that, and in terms of value it's quite good because buying this box set works out at around 35% less than buying all of these models individually. So you are going to get the models cheaper with the box set than probably anywhere else. And also you can use third-party websites, which I'll link some of in the description, to get the box set slightly cheaper than the £85 that's on the Warhammer website. Now, the main concern about this box set is the issue that you're not able to use all of these Poxwalkers. Now, the reason because of this is there's a Death Guard rule which states that you're not allowed to have more Poxwalker units than units of other Death Guard troops within a specific detachment, and because you've only got one other unit, the Plague Marines, as they can't be in units of less than 5, and the maximum size of a unit of Poxwalkers is 20, there is literally no way around it, and you can only use 20 of the 30 Poxwalkers, which is a bit annoying. And although if you do want to play this as a Combat Patrol with just 20 Poxwalkers, you still do have it at about 500 points. But the other way to get around it, probably the easier way, is you can buy additional Plague Marines, and that way you're going to be allowed to yield more Poxwalker units, and you might even want to buy some more Poxwalkers to go with that. There's a box of 3 Plague Marines that you can get on the Games Workshop website, although that is a little pricey for the amount that you get, and it's better to get a box of 7, then you can have 1 or soon even 2 more units. So although it's difficult with just this box set, eventually you are going to buy more units and expand your army a bit, so it's not too much of a problem, to be honest. In terms of how useful the troops actually are in the box are, well, your main troop is Typhus, and he's a big Death Guard character, and his rules are pretty good. People might debate whether you should use him, a Lord of Virulence, or a Lord of Contagion, although at the end of the day they are all very similar, and he is a solid Death Guard unit to start off your army with, and also he's a named character, so makes your army a bit more interesting than just a generic troop. The Plague Marines are also fairly good. I mean, they're not the best units in the world, but given they have 2 wounds per model, they're quite nice for like a heavier infantry sort, and they often are a bulk of lots of Death Guard armies. Along with that, the Poxwalkers, they are kind of the opposite of the Plague Marines in that they're really light infantry. They're not too powerful, they do less damage in melee, but given their low points cost and how many of them you can have, they can be really effective in bulk. However, the only thing is the Biologus Putrifier, which is the elite character that the Death Guard comes with, isn't particularly useful unit to start off your Death Guard, and I personally rather have a vehicle like a Blight Hauler or a Bloat Drone, although even if you don't use the Biologus Putrifier, the other stuff is still cheaper having them in the box set than having them individually, even if you don't use the Putrifier. So it's still kind of worth it, and that's my conclusion. Although it's not perfect, and to be honest, I think Death Guard have been done a bit dirty in not having a great Combat Patrol box set, it is still a really nice way, and if you are looking to start your Death Guard army, this should certainly be where you get your first units from. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, tell me what you want me to discuss in the future.